To Queensland today, which is nudging that 80% double vaccination target. Let's go live to our Queensland Editor, Peter Gleeson. Peter, are we looking at the borders possibly reopening earlier than that December 17 milestone, that target?
Well, Kieran, you and I are both betting men. If you can grab a bookie, I'd be taking the shorts. The announcement coming up in about an hour and 15, and of course that'll come to you live on Sky. But major announcement just tweeted by Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk. She's always maintained, Kieran, that if they can reach that 80% double vax target earlier, that they will obviously consider going earlier. Now, the original date, December 17, which is next Friday week, the tip is it'll be December 10, and that, of course, will bring forward the opportunity for anyone throughout the country to come to Queensland. Now, you still have to have the test, you still have to have the COVID test, and you still have to be double vaccinated. But that is likely to be great news. Of course, we'll bring you that at around 2 o'clock Queensland time. But, Kieran, the other big story out of this will be the fact that the internationals will come forward by about a week, because the international component, which is where you can come in from overseas and you don't have to do that mandatory 2-week quarantine, if it kicks in at 90% double vax. Now, if we're looking at 80% in the next 48 to 72 hours, that's also great news for the tourism industry, who are obviously looking very closely at getting those international tourists back.
And Peter, the other component that I guess that I notice here this afternoon, us talking about it, is the same time as other states have been talking about possibly lifting requirements, like in South Australia, or the border situation continuing in WA because of this Omicron variant. That does not seem to be hampering this move or this expedited reopening for Queensland.
Yeah, and Kieran, you and I have been discussing this for the past couple of months. There's been a seismic shift in the mood and the narrative from the Queensland government when it comes to COVID. Now, they've copped plenty of criticism over the harsh border closures and the way in which the exemptions unit has been so draconian in its response. But you can see that freedom and liberty and getting on with the job is now part of the Palaszczuk government's narrative. And Kieran, there's been a massive push in Queensland for the 18 to 24-year-olds to get jabbed. They were the ones that were lagging, and there've been ads about you can't go to the clubs, you can't go to the pubs, you can't go to festivals, you can't go to sporting events. And it seems as though the 18 to 24-year-olds have really responded, and that's why we're looking at 80% in the next 48 hours.
And Gleeson, just finally, is that, we've noticed the government's shift, is that the shift among Queenslanders as well? Are they over it, the fact that the closures continue?
Good question, absolutely. And the government that doesn't do anything unless it gets party polling or internal research, it would have been told by Queenslanders, we've had enough, we've done our bit, we've got vaccinated, we've adhered to the mask mandates, we've endured the lockdowns, we've endured the border closures, we now want to get on with things. And the other interesting part of this is if she brings it forward to December 10, which is this Friday, you get 48 hours of the GABA test. Now, who would have thought 2 or 3 months ago that we would have had people flying in from interstate that were able to have a look at the first test, the first Ashes test? Maybe it might be over in 3 days. Hopefully the POMs will capitulate, but that's the story here.